The 2026 Mazda CX-50. We have some new updates to talk about, but stay tuned until the end of this video where I will be sharing with you how you can save up to 11% off the MSRP on new 2025 Mazda vehicles. All right, let's get started here. For 2026, the CX-50, it receives the Meridian edition for the naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine. You can still get the Meridian edition with the turbo engine, but now it's available with the NA 4-cylinder as well. We can also get new black Mazda emblems and badges on certain models, and we also get an all-new white interior option for certain trims of the 2026 CX-50. And those are pretty much all of your latest updates. The 2026 CX-50, it should be arriving at dealerships later this month, later in September of 2025, and we do have the official pricing here. There's not a big difference in price compared to the 2025 CX-50s, just a marginal price increase depending on the trim level and the model. In fact, some trims even went down in price, but once again, just a couple $100 difference. Base model select, that's going to start at $29,900. And the Turbo Premium Plus is going to top out at $42,900. But keep in mind, the prices listed do not include the destination charge, which is going to be $1,495 or $1,575 if you're in Alaska. So make sure to add that to all the prices listed. As mentioned before on the screen, I've already showed you what each trim level has to come with. Personally, I do really like the entry-level naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine, which produces 187 horsepower and 185 pounds-feet of torque. It's made it to that excellent 6-speed automatic transmission, and it does take 87 regular octane fuel. Something else I appreciate with Mazda, on pretty much all of their SUVs, they are offering all-wheel drive as standard, including this CX-50. So yeah, if I were to consider this vehicle, I think I would just stick with the regular Select model. Comes pretty well equipped. You get a 10.25-inch infotainment screen with an 8-speaker audio system. You get the wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You get keyless entry with push-button start, a 7-inch digital gauge cluster. You get dual zone automatic climate control with vents for your rear passengers. You get a leather wrapped shifter and steering wheel, and you also get half leatherette seats. Base model is going to be rocking 17-inch wheels, and you do get the useful safety tech features as standard, like blind spot monitoring. Really awesome to see that. But of course, new for this model year, it's going to be that Meridian edition. You can think of this as like your quote-unquote off-road model. So it's going to be rocking 18-inch wheels with all-terrain tires. You got black roof rails, you get the black half leatherette seats, and you have 3 exterior color options to choose from for the Meridian edition. You can get the jet black mica, the polymetal gray, or the zircon, or however you say that, sand exterior color. And we also get the gloss black Mazda emblems with the Meridian edition. Once again, it's still available with the turbo engine as well. And we still have the hybrid to choose from as well. So if you don't know already, that hybrid system is from Toyota. It's essentially what you see in something like a RAV4 hybrid. So it's still got the 2.5-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine with 3 electric motors, standard all-wheel drive. You got 219 combined horsepower, and the hybrid model still takes 87 regular octane fuel. You get 38 mpgs combined, and previously I believe Mazda themselves said that the average consumer can save about $550 per year on fuel. So nothing crazy, but if you keep your cars long term, it could add up, or if you just drive a lot, then the hybrid can make sense. Whatever the case might be, it's a great reliable hybrid system from Toyota. But unlike a RAV4, most Mazda products, they just drive a bit better. It's a little bit more refined, and I think I would stick with that preferred entry-level model for that hybrid to save the most amount of money. And we still got the turbo engine, which can run on regular 87 octane fuel. You're just going to be making less power, 227 horsepower, 310 pounds-feet of torque. But if you put premium fuel in the turbo engine, it will produce 256 horsepower, 320 pounds-feet of torque. For 2026, we actually do get just one more subtle update, and that's going to be an entry-level turbo model. So if you like the turbo power, but you don't want to pay up for the higher trim levels, well, for 2026, Mazda has incorporated a entry-level turbo with less features. starting at $37,900 before destination. And this is the model where you can get the white interior option. I really love the turbo power. It really makes this vehicle effortless and very refined, but I just don't think that it's necessary. And the options are a bit strange with the CX-50 because another very similar vehicle exists in the Mazda lineup known as the CX-5, and you can get a carbon edition CX-5 that's really well equipped for a lower price compared to most of these equivalent CX-50 trim levels. Now make no mistake, the CX-5 and the CX-50, despite what some people might tell you, they drive almost identical to one another. They ride about the same, they go about the same, and they offer similar space regarding the interior. Again, the purpose of the CX-50 is to serve as almost like this off-road model in the lineup, hence the Meridian edition as well, to double down on that off-road aspect. And you see it in the suspension architecture as well. The CX-5 comes with a multi-link rear suspension, whereas the CX-50 comes with that torsion beam rear end. Once again, that torsion beam, even though on paper it seems like it is inferior, it's actually there to help with some off-roading, according to Mazda. And although people see it as a negative, to be completely honest, the ride quality and the overall handling demeanor between the CX-50 and the CX-5 very similar. Also, something else a lot of people put stock behind is the fact that the CX-5 is made in Japan, whereas the CX-50 is not. Once again, not a huge difference between the two. They both feel solid, refined, no issues. I've been testing a lot of these Mazdas over the years. The discrepancy in quality with these regular Mazda products, not too bad. But something like a CX-90 and the CX-70, which are built in Japan, it can be either a huge dumpster fire or a super refined experience. So yeah, a product that's made in Japan but offering a lot of inconsistencies with quality and drive. I've noticed this with Lexus vehicles as well. So I personally do not put a lot of stock behind where a vehicle is made, but I can say that because I've driven literally hundreds of vehicles. So yeah, overall, even though I like the CX-50, I just think the CX-5, which is the SUV that I have been recommending to families for the past several years now, is the better choice, especially with the Carbon Edition, where you can get the 10-speaker Bose audio system, truly one of the finest audio systems for a regular automobile, and you get that for $32,630. I'm talking about the 2025 CX-5, by the way. The 2026 CX-5, it gets redesigned or refreshed, whatever you want to call it, and it loses the physical controls for the HVAC. It's got a big tablet in the middle, so if you don't like the new gen tech, 2025 CX-5 is definitely where it's at. Fortunately, the 2026 CX-50, it retains all of its physical controls for the interior. So I like both SUVs. You just get better value when you go with the Carbon Edition CX-5. But the Bose audio system found in the CX-50 is actually a 12-speaker unit versus the 10-speaker found in the CX-5, but that doesn't really matter. They both sound incredible. Regardless of that, as promised at the beginning of this video, here's how you can save a substantial amount of money on new Mazda vehicles. You can reach out to AutoCompanion, who is one of the largest car brokers in the United States. He has partner dealerships both on the East Coast and the West Coast, but he does offer nationwide shipping. But shipping is something you have to pay extra for, so it would be ideal if you can pick up locally on the East Coast or on the West Coast. But on pretty much every Mazda SUV, he's got about 11% off the MSRP, which is tremendous. And even on the hybrid CX-50, he does have discounts, but it's less. It's about 8.5% to 9% off the MSRP, which is still very good. But I would just stick with the regular gas models, like once again, a CX-5 Carbon Edition, because I am personally satisfied with the naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine and the performance that comes with that engine, or I would just straight up go with a base model select. So that's another option. If you just like the CX-50 body style, which I have to say does look really good, I would just stick with the base select. And these have been my recommendations for the past several years now. And with these discounts, it's just kind of a no-brainer. What I like about Mazda is there's a lot of flexibility in this brand, no matter what you decide to do. If you want to save money, go with the base model, you're still getting a great experience. If you have more money and you want to splurge with this company, getting a turbo model, it really gives you an elevated driving experience and an elevated interior experience as well, especially with all of the upgraded features. Also on the financial side, leasing, financing, paying cash, all three of these buyers are being rewarded with really good deals and programs. So that's really good. And actually, if you don't understand leasing, on the AutoCompanion website, there is a free leasing calculator embedded into a site, And also, towards the bottom of his website, there is a free leasing calculator that you can use to run your own numbers, because that calculator will show you the interest rate of a lease, the residual values, and the incentives that you can get for your local zip code. So that's a free educational tool where you can really see the mechanics behind leasing. And it's good to know about because there are some people in the comment section, especially on my CX-90 video, individuals have commented saying how they got 17% off the MSRP. Is that possible? Are these people capping? To be honest, no, I actually do believe that these individuals have gotten substantial discounts like 16-17% off, because I've seen it happen on the Lease Hacker forum. You can actually get better deals and discounts than what some brokers advertise. Now, of course, like with all things, there is an asterisk with that. Most of these individuals saying such things, I'm guessing that they live in the middle of nowhere, where they are pretty much the only life form in a 500-mile radius. It's just them and said Mazda dealership. So if you live in the middle of nowhere, it is totally possible to get higher discount deals. But try that in a heavily populated metro area. Yeah, it's just not gonna happen. You're not gonna get those deals and those discounts. Something else to consider, most of these people who have supposedly gotten such deals, they pretty much end up getting screwed over somewhere else in the deal. Either they get a poor trade-in value, there's some type of a nitrogen fee / tin fee that's been applied to the deal, which honestly, even if they do that, if they give you such a substantial discount like that, I'm really not too mad about it. If they tack on like a $500 tin fee, whatever, let them have that, because getting 16-17% off, that is a huge blessing. And that's part of the reason why AutoCompanion offers that free leasing calculator. You should try and get your own deal. Reach out to your local dealerships for sure, but if you're like me and you live in the Southeast where getting a car deal is impossible, there's too many games and too many people willing to pay full sticker price for cars where you live at. If you live in a place like that, then you have to use a service like AutoCompanion. There's just no other way. And there is something else to note regarding AutoCompanion's deals as well. Even though these are some of the best prices in the country, there's no headache, there's no manipulation games attached to this. To access these deals, you do have to pay AutoCompanion's broker fee, which is about $6.99. He did say that if you go on his website and you fill out an inquiry form and you mention my channel, he did say that he'll take about $50 off of his fee, and I really appreciate him doing that for my audience. So a $6.49 fee, that's going to eat into your discount. Obviously, people like myself, we are more than happy to pay that because our local dealerships are not very good. It's not that they're not good, it's just that there's too many people paying full sticker in a place like where I live. Anyway, I went on long enough. For the individuals who want to take advantage of the service, I will have all of AutoCompanion's information linked in the description box below. If you found value with this content, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you again for watching. Take care and goodbye.